Yes, we are live now. Hello, sir.
Hi, hi. Thank you
How
for
are you
having
doing?
me. All is well. A bit chilly
All
in
is
Zim.
well.
All good.
Fantastic, fantastic. No, that's what we want to hear. I was a bit worried when you said that you're not feeling well. How are you doing now?
Yeah, a lot better. Thank you. A lot better.
Sweet, fantastic. Now that's good. And thank you so much for coming. Sir, thank you so much for coming at short notice.
Thank you. Thank you so much for having me.
Wonderful. Now, today, I think we're going to have a very interesting chat, and what we're going to be discussing about is what we've discussed about already. We're just going to be talking about business. I know you're a serial entrepreneur. I know that you're running a good business at the moment. You've been winning a lot of awards as of recent, and we're going to be talking about that pretty shortly. So
Thank
I just need to understand one thing. Who is Michael Monson? If you can introduce yourself, please, that'd be great.
thank you. Thank you. Thank you so much for having me on the show. I really appreciate. So
Right.
yeah, I went to school in South Africa. I
Mm.
started college. I then went to Prince Edward for a short while,
Mm.
and I then started working at a company called Doves in Harare.
Mhm. Yeah.
And yeah, worked my way up. By the time I was 18 or 19, I was a manager within the establishment, and then decided to go on my own. And we started making coffins in a garage actually.
Wow.
And then a gentleman called Mark Jones,
Mhm.
one of the biggest mentors. Unfortunately, he passed away, but he saw something in me, and he gave me an opportunity. His company called Kalendike Exports, which we've
Okay.
since sold to called Niradza, well, a number of years back. But we were doing 2,500 coffins a month, and he was integral in shaping
Wow.
me as a man, and so forth. And then we ended up selling that to Niradza, like I mentioned, and then we
Mhm.
started a field, and then I sold my shareholding in 2013 or 2014, and then we started Monson Funeral Director, which is basically my wife and uh, we run a family business, but with corporate infrastructure, if that's the right word.
Wow. To be honest, I had no idea that you actually are linked to Nyarado Funeral Home. So
Yeah,
you
we
sold that.
so we sold our factory and then worked with them for a short while, and then went on my own. So yeah, good relationship with the team there still, and still in contact with them.
Congratulations. When did you start? When did you start Michael Monson? I mean, Monson Funerals.
Entrepreneur Directors was about 2015. We decided to grow the business organically, take it
Okay.
once at a time, let the market build the brand and the business, and yeah, just not try and outstretch ourselves, not try and get into any financial difficulties. So that basically was us just trying to build a reputation around handling funerals for bereaved families. And, it seems to be working. A
Mhm.
lot of people appreciate the service and the value that we add when they at their saddest times. So
Yeah.
yeah,
Wow.
the
It's a it's a very small niche. If you're looking at Zim at the moment, I think the funeral sector really, or funeral business, I should say, it's quite small. And why do you think that people don't usually break into that kind of business really in Zimbabwe? Because there's only about three or four funeral homes that I know of. I know Nyaradzo, I know Doves, I know yourself. I don't know any other. Why is that? Is it a difficult sort of business to get into?
it's um it's it is a pretty difficult business. For me, I felt that this is a God-given gift to be able to help families in the time of sadness. I mean, when you lose a loved one,
Mm,
um, it's an extremely difficult time, and you need somebody
it is.
there that's going to give guidance,
Mm,
and be somebody that you can have peace of mind that they are looking after my loved one who's passed away, and they are
yes.
indeed looking at me and my family. So for me, it's a calling. uh, I think a lot of people go into this type of business because they think there's a lot of money, and I think
Ah,
that yeah, there is a lot of money to be made in funerals, especially on the insurance. But we're small. We're a small business, more geared towards personal care. If that's, yeah, personal care, and not
Mm,
just mass market um, type business.
mm.
So I think between us and the other funeral parlors, that we take time and we look after people within our care. Not saying that the
Yeah,
other parlors, but that's one of our main objectives, is to, have a personal person meet you, go all the way through the process with you, so that you feel comfortable that there is somebody looking after you, and you're not given different people with different tasks throughout the
mm.
process. Yeah, there are quite a number of other funeral companies there, but the ones that you mentioned, I think, probably are the more relevant ones.
Fantastic. No, that's quite interesting. I think quite a lot of people would actually also want to get into it, and having not knowing exactly what are the ins and outs of that kind of business or pros and cons. It's very difficult for a lot of people to break into that. But I think you've highlighted something. If people are interested in getting into that business, you'll also be there to sort of assist them or sort of give them some sort of direction, I suppose.
Absolutely. It's a difficult business. It's not only that emotionally taxing, but it's also physically.
Mm,
You're dealing with people who are in a bad way, which is difficult to handle. And then
yeah.
also, we work long hours. People pass away at all hours of the day, whether it's two in
Oh,
the
yeah.
morning, or 8 in the morning, whatever time. So you've got to be prepared and ready. So physically, um, it's hardships, but there's the fulfillment that when you
Mm.
do something for family and they acknowledge what you've done for them, that is worth more than money for us.
That's important. That's important. No, thank you so much for elaborating, your business. Not a lot of people want to talk about their businesses. They just want to hide the ideas. They fear that somebody's gonna steal their ideas. Yeah, but anyway, let's go into business in general. We've got a lot of young entrepreneurs that are coming through. Zimbabwe is doing great when it comes to sort of entrepreneurship. I've realized pretty recently um, a lot of people wanting to start their own businesses, and some of the businesses are thriving, or they seem to be thriving. What exactly can you tell young people that are starting off in these small businesses? How can they sustain themselves to be there for a long haul rather than just doing it for the money that particular moment in time and then jumping onto something else? People are struggling to break through. What advice can you give to young people starting off?
I think number one is never stop believing in yourself.
Mm,
You believe in yourself. You have to believe that you have the ability to do whatever it is you want to do, and you
yeah.
need to look for the long term. If you're
Mm,
looking at short-term gains, you're not gonna get anywhere in life. Whatever
yes.
you do, whatever your dream is, whatever you want to achieve, you've got to put in everything that you've got, and
Mm,
you stay focused. You just, whether you have, it's blood, sweat, and tears, and I can tell you this firsthand. I've had
mm,
situations. I've been at work. I was 16. Um, my boss was so hard on me, and I would phone my mom and I'd be crying. I'd say, "Mom, I don't know what I'm gonna do. I can't handle this." And she'd just say, "Michael, just take it one day at a time. This is
mm.
your call. You're doing well. Don't let anyone derail you. Just keep on." And also, another thing to do is to pray.
Wow.
You've got to be very powerful in your approach to what you want to achieve, and there's no better way. If you pray, it's a powerful way of putting it out there in terms of what you want to achieve, because you're praying for what you want. So, yeah, believe in yourself. Know that there's going to be hardships. It's not going to be easy, and when those hardships come, learn from them. A lot of
Mm,
people get to a stage where they reach a roadblock, and they feel that they can't go further. But what they don't realize is that just after that roadblock, 1 centimeter away, is greatness. So a lot of
wow.
people thought because they just didn't persevere that little bit more, or just just blood, sweat, and tears, like I mentioned earlier. It's just grit, and
Yeah.
those are the basic fundamentals. I mean, obviously there's a lot of technical issues and so forth within trying to achieve. You've got to set up yourself in terms of integrity. If you've got integrity, people will trust you. If they
Yes.
trust you, they will, and that's very key to setting up a business as well. If you say you're going to do something, you do it, and you do it with the best of your ability. You go more than the extra mile. You don't just do it half-heartedly, and and if you do those basic things, that'll give you a good grounding as a young entrepreneur to really go further and pursue it in your business. The other thing is opportunities. If you come across maybe colleagues or maybe somebody older, we're talking of a young entrepreneur here. If you've got an uncle, friend, or a business partner that you can see is taking the time to give you advice or whatever it is, those are the kind of people that you need to get really close to, because they are probably the ones that will help you get to the next level in your business, because they've got the experience, they've got the knowledge, and so getting a mentor or having a mentor type person is key to a young entrepreneur. And I speak of this from first-hand experience, because I've had a number of people help me, and I definitely wouldn't be where I am today if it wasn't for those. And imagine, I don't even have an O level. I didn't even write my O levels.
Wow.
Given opportunities that far outweigh anything that I could have imagined in life, and for that I'm truly grateful.
You've poured out some of the sentiments that I always air, especially to a lot of young entrepreneurs asking questions with regards to how can they handle business at this difficult time. Sometimes as young people, as young entrepreneurs, we simply give up. When something doesn't go our way, we just give it up.
Yeah.
But you've mentioned one thing that is very, very special. And this has been mentioned several times on this show by so many people that I've hosted. You've mentioned the power of prayer, and I've heard that from Nyaradzo, who is the CEO of Yanaya. I've heard that from Nyasha Bandison as well, a pharmaceutical lady. And I've heard that from Jeremy Nyazungu. I've heard that from somebody else said exact words that you said. I just want to understand one thing. What is it with the power of prayer when it comes to business?
So, when you want to achieve something, you have a burning, you know. So like in my case, I wanted to be the best funeral director in the country. That's number one goal. I want to be able to be there for people in their time of need and supersede the expectations. Sometimes you
Yes.
can't, don't work out exactly how you want to, but then you always have an opportunity to fix the problem. But back to the power of prayer. The power of prayer is so powerful that people don't understand how it changes people's lives. Because if you put your faith in a greater power or a higher being, for me, Jesus Christ, you achieve anything that you want, because that power is supernatural. There's no other
Wow.
power like it. And if you use it for the greater good, and you achieve what you want, um, there's nothing more powerful. There absolutely isn't. So it's like anything. You want to achieve something, so like I'll use a simple analogy. When you go for a job interview, you
Mhm.
prove that you're going to get this job. There's nothing else on. You are just praying and praying and praying that whoever at it in HR, whoever the other guy is on the managerial team, that they just give you an opportunity, and they give you the opportunity, and then after 3 or 4 months, you're not putting in that zeal or that effort that you were. So if you've got a good leader within your business structures, he'll come to you and say, you know what, when you came for the opportunity, you were hungry, you were motivated. You know what's changed. So
Yeah.
forget that initial, um, that willpower to get the job. You will promise God anything if you get something. That's
That's true, that.
but
That's true.
there's more greater in my mind than giving your wants and your needs to the Lord. If you do that, and you're very genuine, and you want to do things properly, you will
Hmm.
be rewarded. There's no doubt about it.
Wow. So, thank you so much. Thank you. Now, moving on to an issue of leadership, I think you just mentioned a little bit about it. I've struggled with that. I still struggle with leadership.
Okay.
And I find it to be the most difficult thing for anyone who is in business. Um, how you can keep your workforce as part of leadership, how you can keep your business afloat, and how you sort of give that motivation to your team is also part of leadership. Are we really doing enough in Zimbabwe at the moment to sort of give the people that are getting into business the traits of being a leader, the knowledge of being a leader, the understanding of what a leader is? Are we doing enough, do you think, or do we need to do more?
I think there's always an opportunity to do more, in anything, like especially with leadership.
Okay.
It's a thing. I'll tell you why. If you're a CEO and you're in your last couple of years, you want to hang on to those couple of years.
Mm,
So if you hold it close to you, you're not going to give your knowledge away to a younger CEO, because you're going to want to try and hold on.
mm,
So you need to try and understand the value um, of of giving back. Um,
mm,
understand that value. We won't be hit by it. Leading a company is difficult. Especially in Zim.
mm.
The simple thing of change management. You wake up in the morning tomorrow, and something's changed. Whether it's the rate, or whether it's a policy, or there's just so many variables.
Yeah, yeah.
So you've got to be able to manage change management, on all fronts. Keeping staff is very tricky. Um, but if you have a company culture of a family orientation,
Mhm.
and you appreciate them, and you give them good feedback, and when they do something right, you appreciate what they've done, and when they've
Yes.
done something, it's difficult. Like just in my little instance, my company is my name. So if
Yeah.
one of my things how exactly how I want them, I'm obviously going to get agitated, and I'm going to get really angry.
Mm,
Uh, but you need to try and come at it from a perspective of wisdom, because what you really want to do is build that person up.
yes.
If if they are worth their salt and gold, they'll understand where you're coming from, and they will stick with you, because they know that your principles are right. If they don't stay with you, then it obviously the glove didn't fit,
Yes.
and weren't the right person for you to employ. But it's tricky. Leadership is not, it's not one for the faint-hearted. You have you've got to work at it, because even as a leader, you're learning all the time.
Mhm.
You can't do everything, because we learn until the day we die. So yeah, there definitely is space for something that needs to be done, in terms of helping young entrepreneurs. And I was involved with a company called Zimco Network.
Mhm.
And it was unfortunate during my tenure. It was more of the COVID period, so it was a little bit tricky. So that one of the things that they really are going to push for now is helping young entrepreneurs in the business space, and utilizing the knowledge base that older CEOs have. So there's going to be some exciting things from. Um, but yeah, I think there are a number of other outfits out there that are trying to get younger guys motivated. There's a lot of people in Zim that are great entrepreneurs. But how
mm,
do we we need to bridge that gap. And unfortunately, it takes time,
mm.
uh, someone to mature, for somebody to learn from their mistakes, to learn from others, um, and 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 figure out what they want to do in life. And then once they know that, they can then focus on their visions.
Yes, I agree with you. I think 100%. And the reason why I'm saying that is because I've realized that lately, we should say about 2 years or something. Let's say the period of COVID, there we had loads of entrepreneurs coming up, and also coupled with social media, we started to know that there's loads of people that are really doing well in Zim.
Yeah.
Now, what I've realized also is that there is a lot of networking that is going on in the country. But one thing that I felt like is not happening is an introduction of new faces within that networking system. I felt like our network or our business networking system is becoming a little bit elitist. It's just the
Hmm.
people that know each other and those
Yeah.
people that we call Mbinga in Zimbabwe, right? You know what that is.
I think because when I was asked to join the Zimcio network, I was shocked, honestly.
Hmm.
Obviously, and then when I was elected the president, I was even more shocked.
All right.
Um, but what it did is it took me out of my comfort zone. I'm a funeral director. I'm more back office than anything else.
Mhm.
Um, now I have to stand up. I have to say speeches. I got to talk to all these big CEOs, all these big financial directors, chairmen, people that are doing amazing things in business. So um, for me, it was unbelievable. The opportunities to meet people and listen to people and understand what they're doing and how they're doing it was phenomenal. So um, I think if people are able to get more opportunities in terms of joining networks or these sort of establishments, it's key. Sometimes it might be a bit expensive, but you know, there's nothing more valuable than being involved in the inner circle. So you've got
True.
to work, but you've got to get in there somehow.
Hmm.
And it's just a membership. You join, and then you just find that things start happening because you're now in the wheel that's turning, and
Wow.
you with a difference in the economy. And once you're in those circles, you are definitely going to make it. There's no doubt about it.
Wow. I like that. It's not something that I wanted. I really wanted clarity. It's very important to join these kinds of circles because that's where business is discussed. That's where opportunities are.
Yeah.
So paying that little amount really for you to be able to mingle with these people and network with them is quite important.
And
And
there's ways of doing it as well. Take up
yes.
golf. You know,
Mm,
all the big guys, they play golf,
right.
and they watch you. They watch how you behave. If you hit a bad shot and you throw your
Yeah.
club, they're not going to trust you in business. You know what I mean?
Right.
And you're polite, and you do things. These guys definitely notice, but
Yeah.
you got to be on the golf course, or you got to be on the squash court, or you've got to be somewhere where these people of influence are. And
Mm.
once you will then find that opportunities will come your way.
So do something basically to be noticed and be close
But
to these guys. Do something.
pick up, and you just got to go for it. Just you just got to make everything happen without even thinking about it. You just got to do it.
Mm, mm. I like that. I like that. I think I need to join golf. I haven't even played golf ever, and I never been to a golf course. I just been there passing through. So I don't know how that game is played, and I don't even know how to join. But I will try. I'll try to get membership for that. No, we've been talking about business, mostly on the formal side of things. But then looking into the Zimbabwean economy, we've got informal sector overweighing or outweighing, should I say, the formal sector, right? Our economy is mostly informal sector. You've got people that are living in Bari or that are doing business in Bari and so on and so forth. How critical is it for us to sort of integrate these two economies, the informal sector and the formal sector, and try to create a sort of a hybrid sort of economy, which would assist or help the business in Zimbabwe, the way business is done in Zimbabwe, to be a bit more sustainable? Because from what I've discovered so far, it doesn't seem like our landscape is an equal or plain sort of playing ground. It's a bit rocky for the other side. So the scale is tipping the other side, but mostly on the informal side. How do we then lift up the scale so that we can level it up a little bit? We need something more sustainable. Can we create a hybrid economy in Zimbabwe, or it is what it is?
The problem is, I think, is that it's been what it is for a long time. And you hear people saying, things will be better next year, or things will be better after this, or things will be better after that. The thing is that the young entrepreneurs that are in the informal sector need to keep pushing. They need to keep, just don't give up. Just keep on doing what you're doing and do it well, because then you'll get noticed. And then once you get noticed, you can then go into a formal sector. But obviously, you need to create a certain amount of, you need to reach certain levels of financial gain, if that's right. You need to be, you can't be selling tomatoes on the side of the road.
Yes.
You need to be creative in your thinking of how you take your tomato business from the side of the road to the next level, where it might be a different area where there's more traffic. There's just so many variables. So I think it's also up to the informal sector to fight to be in the formal sector. And obviously, people like ourselves that have had the opportunity to have people that have noticed us, we need to also impart our knowledge and help those people.
That's important. Yes.
We have a lady that we assist. She said she wanted to start a veggie business. She buys and she packs it, and then she off sells it, and then she started selling to creches. She started to sell to all sorts of other places. But we saw an opportunity within her, and she's the one that's running with it, and she's making it happen. So soon she's going to be coming out of that informal sector and into the formal sector, because she's going to have to start paying taxes and employing people and paying NASA, why, and all of that sort of thing. So maybe we need to look more into the informal sector and try and look at people that could add value. Obviously, if those people are then paying taxes and so, it's better for the country. And
Yes.
maybe it's a thing of being more patriotic. That could be another way of looking at it. But there's so much potential in our country. So many people just want to make things happen. They always say we make a plan B in Zim, and we do. We actually we there's no electricity, we put in an inverter, we put in a generator. We never give up, and that's how resilient we are, and that's how the economy is kept going, because of youngsters like myself and people that we work with, and everybody is just putting their all in to keep going. Whether it's to pay the bills, or whether it's to persevere. People have got an attitude of, we're not going to give up, and we're going to go for it, and that's impressive. And that's what's keeping us going. I believe or at least one part of it anyway.
I'm so inspired with what you just said. But also, I've got a very good case study with regards to informal sector meeting the formal sector.
Okay.
I just been watching the way Skylake borehole drilling company is growing. That young Tatenda Samkange is one good example that a lot of young entrepreneurs should follow.
Yeah.
It started with one machine, two machines. This time he's buying massive rigs for borehole drilling. He's got big offices in Harare, and he's doing so well. Now, it's something that is so achievable, but it really depends on how you as an entrepreneur really see your business. It doesn't matter what kind of business you're doing. What matters is if you've got the strength and the tenacity and the courage to keep working as hard as you can, harder than everybody else, to be able to achieve or attain whatever the goals that you have on target. Now, having said that, I just been asking a lot of people on here, most of the guests, with regards to mentorship. Mentorship, you've touched on mentorship a little bit, but we really need to dig into that, because I think that's one of the most critical pieces. If it's missing on a puzzle, then you wouldn't be able to sort of complete whatever the goals that you wish to achieve. Let's talk about mentorship. Do you believe in these mentorship programs, maybe that are there right now? Um, what sort of mentorship programs should we be able to join? Or do I have to join any? Do I have to have a mentor in business?
Excuse me. So I've been so fortunate in life, and mentorship has been a massive part. It's played a massive part, like you say, in that in that picture puzzle. Um, Mark Jones first saw the potential in me, and then obviously Philip Mataranika, and Shore, and Paul Anichindamba and Teddy Nyamarira. You know, when these guys saw potential in me, it opened up a whole new window,
Mm,
just thought processes. Because when these big guys give you just even 30 minutes of their time, they are speaking a different language. You know, they are talking about stuff that is happening, you know, and making a difference in the business world.
yes.
You know, without a mentor, it's very to to understand what's really going on. um, you know, that mentor could be a father, it could be an uncle, but in my case, it was people that just saw something in me, and I thank God that they did, because it even pushed me to want to achieve more, because of the mentor given me the opportunity. When you see what they're achieving and you see what they're doing, it's
Yes.
my but you have to have a mentor. You need to be in some sort of program, or like in me, it was more personal. You know, people noticed what I was doing, whether it was making coffins or embalming or
Mm,
um, funeral directing or driving a hearse. You know, first person when Mark saw me, I was doing coffins in a factory, and
mm,
saw the opportunity in me because I was doing things properly, and I was doing it the right way, and I was presenting myself in a way that you should. And so, yeah, there are the people that go through those sort of mentorship programs, but then there are the ones that are very fortunate and they come across people that give them opportunities, like I have. And like I said, when you are talking to these powerful people, it rubs off on you, and
mm,
and then you want to emulate what they're doing, because why reinvent the wheel? You know, if somebody is doing
yeah.
something well, you
Mhm.
can emulate, and put it into perspective into your field. There's no greater gift than that. You know, it's it's just unbelievable. I mean, you can't. Yeah, it's just it is, it really is.
Wow. No, I also agree with that fact. And one thing that I've noticed from our conversation is that you are always pointing out quality delivery service. This is what you've started when we started this conversation. You're talking of quality delivery, quality delivery, and you're still saying it. You said it so many times.
You know
And
what?
yes.
Like my wife owns a florist business and events management company,
Mm,
and I take so much from her book or from her leaf or from her page, because I've
mm,
noticed she will never send out a bouquet of flowers or funeral flowers or a gift set to anybody if she's not 100% happy with that product.
mm,
And what it set her apart from the other from the other florists, because her work is always at a standard where another florist might just say, you know what, let's just send it. It's okay. The flowers are lost, and or whatever the case may be. But she's so particular in the way that she wants to present her product that people come back to her, and they repeat referral business, the repeat business is phenomenal. So maybe I rubbed off onto her, and she's now rubbed off onto me. But there's is something about doing things properly, and people trust you. That's, when you do things properly, people trust you, and that's a massive thing in business. If people trust you, they'll give you everything that you need to achieve what you want to achieve. There's no doubt about it.
I'm beginning to believe that this is the basis of your success. And that's something that a lot of people, young entrepreneurs, need to copy or emulate, I should say. Just doing things right. You're not rushing. You just need to make sure that, whoever you are offering this service is happy. If you're happy with your service, obviously somebody whom you're offering that service is going to be happy too. So I think that's a very strong quality of any business to really attain, and it's something that most business you'd have to thrive to get to that level where quality is their first priority.
Absolutely, I totally agree with you. If you look at all the bigger companies, like even if you mentioned Coca-Cola, or the guys came up with a product, and they did it well. They the ingredients were right. The
Mhm.
the way it looked, the way it tasted. So if you're going to do something, you might as well just put your all into it. Don't go into it half-hearted. Don't just do it for the sake of doing it, but really give it your all. Put your whole heart and soul into it, and people notice. And yeah, it bears fruit.
Oh, fantastic! No, I'm learning. I'm learning a lot. I'm learning a lot from this discussion. Now, we only left with a few minutes before we close. But that's one question. There's one question that I was dying to sort of ask you, and this is to do with technology, um, where we are going as an economy, as a global village. We are people that are controlled by technology now. We're talking of social media. We're talking of everything else in business. We're talking about digital marketing and so on and so forth. There is a wide world out there now. What do you think about technology being an enhancement in businesses, yours included?
Um, so for my business, a lot of the work is hands-on. When a loved one passes away, you go through to the hospital or the home, and then you collect the loved one, you take them, you then do the washings and dressings, and then you conduct the funeral, whether it's a burial or cremation. You actually physically drive the hearse.
Hmm.
So the way we've done it in terms of using technology to get out there is, it's not the norm. We've
Mhm.
tried to from a different perspective, and maybe it's because of our business. Our business
Yeah,
is very simple, and we
yeah.
and we and or on the funeral side. I think if you're on the funeral assurance side, it's a bit different. You can really go out there, and you can market a product.
Yeah.
But for you, funeral company, it's by doing things properly, like what we just mentioned, and
Mhm.
people that listen to you, and they trust you. But you obviously need to be out there in terms of having a website, and in terms of having email for repatriations. You need to be in touch with funeral parlors in other countries. You need to be able to converse on all those different platforms to get your name out there. So there definitely is a big need for more of that. And luckily, a lot of people that are really good within tech side of things, and also building websites, you know giving people guidance on how to use the internet to
Mm.
boost your, whether it's on Instagram or Facebook, or whatever it is. It's just our business is slightly, it's more,
Different,
it's
different. It's more hands-on.
yeah, it's a lot more hands-on. And so, for instance, when the COVID thing was really with us,
Mhm.
you know we would do a funeral, and we wouldn't even meet the family. That's how terrible it was, even for us, because we couldn't even give a family member a hug, and say, I'm
Mm.
sorry for you. We were doing things over the phone because there was all this fear of this
Mm.
virus.
Mm.
So
Mm.
we WhatsApp and internet connectivity and so forth and so forth, and being able to just talk to somebody with a FaceTime, and be able to do a video live stream so that people that couldn't travel
Yes. Mm.
wouldn't be able to see and pay their last respects, even if it's through the internet. So it's massive. It really is massive. And given that, especially in Zim, a lot of families don't, members are not able to travel back for funerals, because of the financial constraints, because of the COVID issues, because of so many different variables. Technology within our sector is key. And I noticed that when we were doing the live streaming, it brought a smile to some families' face. They could see what was going on. They could interact with family. They could, they could pay their respects, although not in person. But there was that ability to be able to sort of be there, which is so key to our industry. And so technology is vital. It's important. And whatever sector we're in, we just need to enhance it to our best, for us to perform better. So it's key.
No, I do agree. I think your business is slightly different, but then you realized that during COVID, you definitely put technology to use. Now, with all these live streaming and stuff like that, we've got loads of social media platforms where you can reach out to the people. It could be families that have been bereaved and so on and so forth. So it's quite important that we've got technology to sort of enhance our day-to-day lives, and also maybe try to sort of develop our business to better heights. Now, having said that, I have to throw it out there because I know that you'll be able to assist me somewhere as well. Um, you have to catch them, don't you? You have to catch them when they're here. So I'm into e-commerce business myself,
Okay.
and my main aim, or should I say my objective, is to make sure that Zimbabweans do not struggle buying stuff. They need to be able to have access to a variety of different items. It could be food, it could be building material, it could be anything. You should have to be, by a click of a button, be able to get that and have it delivered to your home. Similar to what Amazon is doing, it's taking over the world. Similar to what Alibaba is doing, it's taking over the world. Why would we not do that in Zimbabwe, to buy something that is in China and be able to be delivered to your house? Why can't we have a variety of things that can be bought globally and still be able to buy that item from just a click of a button? So that's something that we are working on right now, and we'll be launching it pretty soon, hopefully in August or something like that. We'll tell you when the launch is about.
In Zim?
Yeah, in
That's
Zim,
exciting.
yes.
That's exciting.
So that's something that we would like to do, and we hope that but when that time comes, you'll be able to sell your coffins on our website. Maybe not. But that's what we want to do. Hence the reason why I'm so much into technology. I understand
Okay.
what it can do to our economy. It can actually make a massive turnaround. So the formal sector the formal and the informal sector that we've been talking about can actually be integrated quite easily when we utilize these technologies. You can imagine that if you want to buy, let's say, chicken kgs or something like that, you don't even need to travel to Mbari. All you do is simply go on that website, check it out. Oh, there's nice chicken kgs that are being sold here. I click, I buy, I have it delivered tomorrow morning at my house, or maybe in a few hours' time. So that is convenience that we need, because what we've realized is we are leaking a lot in Zim in terms of time. Time is key, and it's leaking big time. It's a leaking basket. When we're talking of time, it's just a leaking basket. Think of someone who is traveling from let's say 4th Street to go to, maybe, I don't know, somewhere at the top of town to go and buy something out there. They do that almost about on a daily basis. Why can't you just sit at home and buy all those items in 1 hour, in a few minutes, and have them delivered?
I totally agree. I remember when I worked at a certain institution, they would say, "Quotes, young man." So now you're driving to Masasa, you're driving to Willowvale, you're driving to Granite Side. Like you say, you spent the whole day looking for something, and then only to get back and your boss says, no, I already bought it.
You see, so there's a lot of things that we can actually do. Now you can imagine that person would have been doing something productive. You
Absolutely.
simply go there 10 minutes, you bought that stuff, you don't even need to get on a bus, which will take you almost about an hour for you to go roaming around the shop and buying this item and then going back to work. Just buy that item and it gets delivered. You just continue doing whatever you need to do and be productive for the company. So I just wanted to throw it out there. And thank you so much. Thank you so much, sir, for coming through. I do appreciate the fact that, you know, I just asked you, I think it was only a few days ago, and you said yes, and you came on this platform. I really appreciate that, because I'm only starting off doing this, trying to elevate other people, discussing things that, I mean, subjects that are really critical for self-development and also for business. So thank you so much for coming through and sharing your knowledge with us.
Thank you. I'm completely honored to have been on this, and thank you for asking me. And I hope any of the viewers or anybody that's going to watch this, if there's just something that they can get out of it that would add value to whatever they're trying to achieve, that would be important to me.
Thank you so much. I know that a lot of people are going to they found this quite productive. So I'd like to thank you for that, and thank you everybody for joining this this show. I hope that you've learned something out of it. If you'd like to ask some questions, obviously Michael said that is all right with you asking questions to do with the business. If you want to get into the type of business that he's in, you'll be able to ask some questions and maybe get into that business. So for that, we thank you and have a very good night.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Bye-bye. Appreciate it. Thank you so much, sir.
Take care.
Thank you.